Hello everyone, my name is Anthony Vasquez. I want to take a brief moment to talk to you about the program types. Initially, when I started talking about these program types, the easiest way to explain it is where I found a website that made it super simple. It was netmetersurvey.com. I noticed with them, they're willing to try to explain it the best way possible, and that's the reason why I like this whole site to explain it to you. So I'm just going to be super simple with you, but at least you understand what's going on here. So you have a couple of things that they talk about here versus converting now versus later, which is pretty cool. The other one that you're going to go into is the program types. There's about 3 program types that are super clear. The reason why I explain these 3 in this way is because we don't know which one you qualify for. And I say we, I work with a lot of different individuals, and unless they explain it to you the way I'm explaining it to you, maybe they have or have not watched this video, but the way I explain it to you is because the state of California wants us to let you know what's available for you. So the best thing we can do is listen to you and then understand how to explain it to you. I made this video because a lot of friends and family members have been referred to me, and sometimes I'm able to help them, and just like myself, it just makes more sense if I see it. So here's how it works. You now have a loan agreement. So I'm going to click on here first and just kind of briefly talk about each topic so you understand what's going on. So you have loan agreements. So in this whole loan agreement process, the panels are pretty much, it's almost like a cash purchase. In this particular case, this agreement is called solar cash purchase. What that means is that a loan is very much similar to like a cash. The only difference is the interest rate. So if you do have the ability to buy it cash, that's super cool. You'll save yourself about 3% interest rate. If not, most folks like myself just buy it and just look at the benefits, and through time can pay it off if they choose to. So now you have it where the solar panels here, the homeowner captures more savings than any other type because if they choose 100 to 125% more power, the cash purchase allows them to buy the power for the future. If they do get a loan, finance charge or something like that, it may vary from $2,000 upwards to $15,000, just depending. I couldn't tell you, I'm just letting you know that's what it says in some of the paperwork. Current incentives out are 26% of the amount of money you would have saved just by paying for your power over the course of time. And then solar cash purchase and ownership. So they give you a pretty much incentive, and they make sure that you're producing your power, which is myself, for your home. So they match the home to make sure you're producing the right amount of power for your house. And then some of the homeowners, they receive qualified power credits depending on the power company, which is pretty cool. And you get a federal tax credit. Some of these federal tax credits are changing, so I just tell people if you do talk to me now or later, it just changes, and that's why I encourage you, if I met you, I want to make this video so it makes more sense to you, like it would for me. So some of the details on the house, the house itself will list for the exact price, like $778, for example, 6-bedroom. It'll have some perks to it. It'll say power credit qualified if the homeowner or agent knows how to list the home. And then you also have here, it'll talk about the total power they have in the system size. With these particular agreements, it only makes sense if you know what you might need, you can save all that comes together, but at least you know you have that option to buy the home with the power, and it's all inclusive within that agreement. Most of the time, if you do buy it like a loan, you can request more power, but not under the same agreement because it's pretty much closed out. The cost of the equipment is normally sold with the home. And then the warranty, it'll have an extended warranty or something of that nature, which I recommend. And then it'll talk about the finance cost, which if you buy the home itself, it'll talk about the power that you can buy with the home. And then if you need future power, we just recommend you do like an evaluation, or in this case, me, the homeowners I help, they just give me a call up and say I need more power, and we make sure we can get the right help they need. It's pretty much a short version of a cash. Loan and cash purchases, this is an example of a pure cash purchase. The other one had a financing charge. It's buying it, A lot of people look at it as a loan. It's true, but they trust you enough to buy all your power for you. In this case, a cash purchase, a little here different. It talks about the incentives. You can save a little bit more just because there's no financing charges. Same benefits, get the same tax credits. Everything looks pretty much the same. A lot of people, when they buy it, the only difference is they may have only chose 10% more power. So most of the time, if you're looking at these agreements, just keep in mind what the power says match to the home and what it's producing. Talks about right here that it just requires your financial investment up front. You get a big discount for the finance charges. Normally, most of the time, these companies, you want to make sure that they have a good agreement for the panel type and quality, including the rebates if you buy it cash. And then it immediately increases the value of the home, just like that. That's why we're involved, is to make sure this is done right. So I go to the next one here. The next one is a little different, which is most commonly what we help homeowners with, because it's just more logical if you're in the processing or transitioning phase. It's called a power purchase agreement. So a power purchase agreement, it just means simply that the company is going to trust you with the fixed rate for your power. Edison's rates go sky high, possibly time of day. This program is fixed, it's a cap. So it won't increase more than a certain percentage to ensure you won't ever see the rates that you're ever paying with Edison. The difference between this program is most people like it because when they sell their home, plan on moving, don't plan on being there forever, they can transfer it. The new homeowner can move in and just ask for more power. Easy peasy simple. Most agreements are designed that way. If you have questions, my number is 951-226-5527. Call or text anytime, but at least you know what's going on here before you sell your home. The good thing about this program is that there's options for ownership. Most of the people don't start off with all their power right around 115, so you might need more power if it's a growing home, and that's the reason why these programs are good for them. You can purchase generally after 5 to 6 years. You got a fixed energy rate for all the power. You get relocation assistance if you choose to. Some of the power credits you qualify for if you don't use that power itself. And then you're always able to request more power. The benefit is it's always going to be at that fixed rate. So if you're thinking about like electric car, haven't retired, a good example, may have a home, thinking about selling 5 years, 3 years, just as long as it's not 30 days or 6 months, but a good example. That's a good benefit. It's a good program. And most commonly I find all these homes with the value increasing, it just means if they sell the home, it's a simple transition, and that's the best part about it. I'll go on to the next one. And the last one, which is we call a lease agreement. So most of the time, the difference in a lease agreement is that in a lease agreement format, if a person doesn't traditionally qualify for tax credit, maybe a senior, a lot of times seniors fall into this category just because you might hear commonly, I'm not even going to be here for, I know Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson, I seen him. He said, look, man, I'm not even going to be here forever. I said, well, Mr. Johnson, you're still kicking. You got good character. That's a good example of that program for me as I ask him questions to see what he qualifies for. Only because he may want to see the savings now. Doesn't technically matter. When the lease agreement is up, the new homeowner can move in. They can modify some of these agreements according to the request. And the lease agreement is pretty good because it has a warranty. So at some point, if you're not able to take advantage of the tax credits, but you're staying in the home, don't want the rate to go up, they consolidate the tax credit provided in the agreement, and now you get the immediate savings. Easy peasy, simple as well. Just short version of all these programs when you go over them, because they can range, for example, a lease agreement from 10 to 20 years. The solar company owns the panels in this case. We just kind of recommend looking out for third-party options and then making sure that the power is matched to the house so it has all the needs that are met. And then more than likely, if you do have questions on this lease agreement, you can always call or text me. The difference between what I see is sometimes beneficial is just if the person has decided they're never going to sell their home, and traditional tax credits may be better off in this case. Hopefully this was better and more educated. It educates you more on the programs out there. It took me some time to make this tutorial, so a lot of folks that I visited 2 years ago, 3 years ago, they didn't know, just like we go through continuous training, but I'm honored to be able to help you. And if you are someone that has gotten this video, I am excited to at least survey your home and show you what you qualify for. You can call me anytime. Also text 951-226-5527. Thanks again for taking time to review the programs available, and look forward to hearing from you soon.